All right. Hello, everybody. So today we're going to do a review of my interview from Donnie Smith's show, and a little bit of Q&A. Maybe I'll bring up some images to build along the way. Kind of go from there. Kind of open for an open chat. Wait for a few people to get in here before we actually start the review. I'm going to bring it up on the screen now. So at the Donnie Smith show, I was invited into the Garage Builder show. Kind of late when we got invited to this, but it was definitely a good show. Donnie Smith puts on a great show, and being invited for the Garage Builder show, which we did end up taking a People's Choice Award for the Garage Builder portion of the show, which was awesome, especially being my son's first build. And I've put a lot on there, but I actually didn't ever review, didn't see a lot on the review for this. So I put it out there to see how things were going, and I've been kind of looking for content, things like that, since I've had my stroke before I started the next build. And one of those things I noticed was that they did this interview on me, and I kind of missed this whole thing. So I thought I'd bring it up for you guys and share it with you. So I am actually remote in with the green screen and not in the shop. Boy, I wish I was. So, but that is not happening right now. For a little bit, I'm still getting through the areas of not being able to walk. I've got moved from the wheelchair to a walker. I got some braces. I'm going through physical therapy and occupational therapy, learning how to do that stuff again. My speech has gotten better. I still have some face numbness on this side. I tend to drool. My balance is bad, and all that, lost the peripheral vision over here on the side of my eye. I've lost all hearing in my left ear. I've got some audiologist appointments. I have a lot of appointments coming up. I am moving forward with the current build. I've had some help from some individuals and finishing up some stuff to get that going. So we'll get going here. If you guys have any questions on where I'll pause the video and kind of answer it from there. Let's see, I learned this kind of remote on this year's training stuff. Trying to learn some things, when I'm off work and doing the YouTube thing, and the community he's building is great, and this is pretty awesome. So let's see if we can make this happen. All right, and then I'm going to move this around to this option here. All right, we're going to go ahead and I'll go ahead and start the video and kind of go from there. This video was done by Michael Litcher and his son at Donnie Smith show in the garage build portion of Dennis Kirk. Donnie Smith motorcycle show in St. Paul, Minnesota, in the Dennis Kirk garage build show. Sitting on my son's Blake Wilson's 1990 Sportster that started out as a normal Sportster that we picked up. He wanted to make a dependable daily rider on. So the question that was asked, Motorbomb, about the off-road rips, we have not. I've done a few rides through, little shakedown rides, and we were finishing up the season just as my stroke hit, and we are going to take some bigger stuff. So yeah, that was inside of St. Paul. All right, I'll go back and we'll get her going again here. Out of it, as he started picking up parts and picking things out, we went into a full build, chopped the frame up, put a TC Bros welded back on it, and then picked out a tank,
We got the tank from Dennis Kirk, turned it into the painter. When things started coming back, we decided to start customizing the motor. We went with an Arlen Ness air cleaner, Arlen Ness hand grips, foot pegs. Then we got some lead sled custom valve covers on the.
So yes, it's it from inside the St. It is St. Paul Review Center. Awesome show. It was great. There was so much good things that went on about it. Inside of there, you can kind of see it behind my head here. That's an Arlen Ness air cleaner. That's actually for a big twin custom. We had to do some fabrication. It's got some lead sled pan head style valve covers on it, lead sled exhaust, lead sled oil tank, the seats from lead sled, lowbrow customs rear fender, and it's not really a show bike. It was kind of a build that ended up as a rider and turned into a show bike along the way. It just ended up turning out so well, it turned into a show bike. We figured the first year or so we were going to do some shows with it and see how it did. All right, so now I'll go back and I'll start
motor. It turned into a really nice build. He did a lot of the work, a lot of the design. I went over it with him, and we started the bike in the living room of our house, and then it moved into the shed where we finished
shot of the pipes.
My son's fourth generation builder now, building bikes, and
so my son being fourth generation, he, my dad and my grandfather both did things on motorcycles. This is the lead sled oil tank that we got when it came in. My son decided he was going to do black and white grade, and the Spade kind of set the scene for Ace. The Spade's painted an excellent job. It's kind of when it started to turn from a daily rider to a full-blown show bike that did really well. We did all custom braided hoses with some Freedom Racing fittings, Red Horse fittings. This is the start of the TC Bros walled in. You can partially see some of the rear fender and the Schnauzer rear tire.
This is his first one. I think it turned out great for him. The hardest part of this build was watching my son do it and having him convince me that the part that he picked out.
The one thing is the best part of this build was doing it with my son. And watching him learn, teaching him things on it, teaching him to weld, all sorts of stuff. I actually put a bunch of pictures up, and in the process of going live, I deleted all the whole setup. But I've decided to just kind of stop and go along the way.
Would look good on a bike. The tires that he picked out, I argued with him for hours on to pick out something else. You know, he picked down there.
Surprisingly enough, even with the aggressiveness of the tread on these tires, they're not horrible on the road. They're definitely noisy. I thought you would feel it more, but you don't really feel a whole lot of it. I mean, you feel everything being a rigid with a Springer front end, but it's definitely not that horrible.
Air cleaner, and I argued with him that it won't fit his bike, but he wanted that air cleaner, so we made.
Right here, you can get a really good view of those lead sled pan head valve covers. Made the Sportster motor look completely different. This is the only part of the neck. Is the only part of the original, and the engine was the only part of the original bike that we used. Everything else was new. Yeah, the motor was completely gone through by us before we did anything more to it.
It fit the bike. We made the parts that he picked out fit the.
Right here, you can see we did a choke relocate. I'm not sure how well you can see that in the picture, but we took the choke from the other side of the bike, used the TC Bro choke relocation kit so that it was on the same side as the carburetor, more hidden so it didn't stick out on the other side.
The bike. It's a little rough, you know, no suspension in the back of it. I watch a lot of videos on suspension, and I wonder why I watch them.
On this side here, we got the TC Bros license plate bracket with a taillight. It was a lot easier on some of this stuff was to have it bought for while we were doing this and fabricated because he was learning. And then we had everything powder coated, all the chrome got sent out for powder coating to keep that black and white look. Down the back side of the fender here, there was a rib that was painted white, and then there was a nice Spade right off a Spade card put on that. The painter did a wonderful job, so did the powder coater. This turned out excellent.
Because a lot of the bikes we build have no suspension on them. We do a lot of hardtail bobber choppers and the old school stuff, and there's not a lot of suspension, so they ride rough. And I'd like to say thank you to Dennis Kirk for inviting us to the show. Even though we drove through a really bad snowstorm to get here, this show is great. If you haven't ever been to one of these shows, make sure and go. Check them out. They are a good show. They're good people. Go around, visit people. It's a good time.
All right, so that was pretty much the end of that whole video. I definitely like to thank everybody that came in. I seen Lone Cowboy was in here. Motorbomb also was in here. So it's great seeing all the you people in here. I appreciate all the support. And of course, Frog's in here. Frog's one of the good supporters on everything. Not as much of a turnout on there as I like, but you know, it's the middle of the day. I'm just kind of bored. Thought I'd jump on real quick and put it out there. Hey, Ray, how are you doing, Ray? Another great guy in the community. I don't know if everybody in here knows Ray's Motor Life, but he's a great guy. There's not a whole lot of people in here, man. But since the beginning, you know, even going on through the stroke and everything, he's checked up on me. I've talked to him and stuff, and I really appreciate all you guys checking up. I'm making better progress on it. And it's just been a great thing. So everything you guys have done is great. So I will see. So I did all that and turned out pretty good. So I didn't have a whole lot more other than that to get started on it. Kind of not being in the shops get a little frustrating, but we're doing what we can. I'll put this out here. It's kind of bored talking to myself. See if anybody wants to. I think this is the way you do this. Anybody wants to jump on real quick for a little bit, we can chat a little bit, or if anybody's got any questions. If that's the way you do that. And then I don't know. I don't think this one we're going to rebuild anything. We're going to keep it as we've already gone on to the next one. 824. The next one we ended up doing the got changed partway through the process. I think I put it out there. I'm going to change the name of it to Stroke Race and then kind of go from there. So he really likes the way it is now and didn't really want to change anything up on it. So I think we're going to leave that. And it turned out good. I mean, there's a few things on everything afterwards. Yeah. The next build, I think I'm going for a little bit smaller tank. This bigger tank would be nice. He does want to ride this a little bit, so we did go with a run with a bigger tank. So. How you doing today, 2-4? So for everybody joining later, we can replay that if anybody was interested. How we can do it without pausing it, and then we can ask questions afterwards. It might let's do it that way, and kind of I'll sit here and watch everything, and if you guys kind of talk as it goes. So do it one more time. If you're
Hi,
looking here now, so
my
let's
name is
start
Brian
now.
Badger. We're here at the Donnie Smith Motorcycle Show in St. Paul, Minnesota, in the Dennis Kirk Garage Build Show, sitting on my son's Blake Wilson's 1990 Sportster that started out as a normal Sportster that we picked up. He wanted to make a dependable daily rider out of it. As he started picking up parts and picking things out, we went into a full build, chopped the frame up, put a TC Bros welded back on it, and then he picked out a tank. We got the tank from Dennis Kirk, turned it into the painter. When things started coming back, we decided to start customizing the motor. We went with an Arlen Ness air cleaner, Arlen Ness hand grips, foot pegs. Then we got some lead sled custom valve covers on the motor. It turned into a really nice build. He did a lot of the work, a lot of the design. I went over it with him, and we started the bike in the living room of our house, and then it moved into the shed where we finished it. My son's fourth generation builder now, building bikes, and this is his first one. I think it turned out great for him. The hardest part of this build was watching my son do it and having him convince me that the part that he picked out would look good on a bike. The tires that he picked out, I argued with him for hours on to pick out something else. You know, he picked out an air cleaner, and I argued with him that it won't fit his bike, but he wanted that air cleaner, so we made it fit the bike. We made the parts that he picked out fit the bike. It's a little rough, you know, no suspension in the back of it. I watch a lot of videos on suspension, and I wonder why I watch them, because a lot of the bikes we build have no suspension on them. I do a lot of hardtail bobber choppers and the old school stuff, and there's not a lot of suspension, so they ride rough. And I'd like to say thank you to Dennis Kirk for inviting us to the show. Even though we drove through a really bad snowstorm to get here, this show is great. If you haven't ever been to one of these shows, make sure and go. Check them out. They are a good show. They're good people. Go around,
The
visit
show is
people. It's a good time.
pre-recorded on this part of it in 2024 in March. Next release coming up. All right, yeah. There's so many different options on gas tanks and such. It's hard. You know, when you're building it, when you start building these things, they come to you when you're building it on how you're going to build it. You start adding things to it, you take them off, and then you kind of go from there. Yes, right. The plan is that is a hard yes. It's with or without a bike, I plan on being there. I've already been in contact with some people. We're doing our best to try to make that deadline. Yes, you'll find out that you end up with a lot of extra parts when you're building these because you try something, you don't like it. And the more and more you do that and try things, then it just gets rougher to try to get things to work. But they always do work out. We did a great job. Had a lot of fun. Hey, Lone Cowboy, thanks for stopping in. We really appreciate it. Drive safe out there. So, trying to figure out how to. Sorry about that. I was trying to figure out something to work, but I couldn't figure it out. So. I'm lying, but I tell you I don't think about you. After all the miles and wild nights, Lord knows we haven't. All right, that didn't work. So, all right. Yeah, so it's when you're definitely when you're building these things. Like I think we have two extra tank ones being used right now. Um, Thanks, Frog. Yeah, that was the best part about the whole build, working on it with my son. My granddaughter did some working on it too. That was a great thing. Like I said, I had some other pictures and stuff to share, but I definitely messed that up in the process of getting ready to do this. I deleted the wrong thing, but I do have. Obviously, it's a sports show because of the engine. So, but I gotta go do some therapy stuff. Let me jump off here and try to go in here live again later. Maybe get those pictures worked up and work on that whole file again and go live and kind of continue this as a part two. Not the interview, but I'll kind of go through the part of the process of pictures I took along the way of the build and do that. Good morning, Angel Face. Thanks for stopping. We're just getting ready to end this in about 22 minutes. I deleted the files of the pictures. I was going to go over the build. I did show the interview of the Donnie Smith show, but I'm going to jump off here. I'll get the files together. Then I'll jump back on and kind of do a review of the build along the way, show the process, and talk about that some. All right, good to see you all. Good to see you, Progazil. Thank you guys all for the support and stopping in. If you got time, I'll try to drop it in a little bit earlier and figure out some stuff along the way. All right. Talk to you guys here in a bit.